Hello. I forgot to record my Zoom, so this is the recording of the presentation if you were not present and needed to watch. Our parent conference dates are Thursday and Friday, October 14th and 15th. Please click on the link in the presentation or in the email to schedule a time. They're going to be 20-minute blocks to start on the hour and on the half hour. A little bit about me. This is my first year in Brandywine in first grade. I previously spent 5 years in Appoquinimink in 8th grade. I have my bachelor's degree in elementary education with middle and high school certifications for gifted, spec ed, ELA, social studies. I have my master's in gifted and talented, and I'm currently halfway through earning my doctorate in educational leadership. I got married last summer at the height of COVID, so you can see from the photo that we are all masked up. During college, when I went to go to University of Delaware, I used to work as a sleepaway ice skating camp director and a preschool skating coach. My husband is a high school science teacher and part-time in the military, and I operate as the family readiness group leader for his unit. In my classroom, we have 4 simple rules: be responsible, be respectful, be safe, and be kind. My discipline policy is if you break it, you fix it. If you made the mess, clean it up. If you're not responsible, you lose the privilege. And if you have a problem, find the solution. We do have a little spot of peace in the corner of the room where the students can go to sit in a rocking chair. They have a few peaceful tools like sand timers and things like that to help them calm down if they're just feeling too frustrated or too overwhelmed and just need a second to take a breath. This is Renzulli's model of giftedness. So this is what we operate on for our curriculum, that every student in the gifted program has a section of above average ability, creativity, and task commitment. That doesn't mean your student has 100% each of those things, but our curriculum is tailored to meet those needs for creativity, task commitment, and above average ability. And we meet those needs through our PCM, which is our parallel curriculum model. So each unit has 4 components. There is the core curriculum, the basic subjects, reading, writing, math, science, social studies. We also then have the curriculum of practice, where the students get to take that knowledge and apply it to other situations. We have the curriculum of connections, where students are building connections between the units, between disciplines, across time and events. And every unit also has the component of identity, where we ask the student to be reflective and to introspect and to feel how can they fit in this curriculum, how does it relate to their personal lives. Our PCM units for this year, we have our Endangered Oceans unit, our Fairy Tales and Folk Tales. We are currently in the Self and Community unit, and we're also developing a Bright Days, Dark Nights unit, which is going to be a study of science and space. For our language arts curriculum, we're using a program called William and Mary, which is specifically designed for gifted students, and it's a study of the English language system. So some of the pictures here was we started studying cave art, and students made their own cave art based on examples that they saw. They explained how somebody else might interpret their cave art, and then they presented it to another student. In the lower pictures, I also just gave the students a bunch of random letters and asked them to make words from whatever letters they could, if they could rearrange the letters and make different words. And what was really great is in my discipline of solving a problem that they have, a lot of the students figured out that they couldn't spell the words, so they took out their writing dictionaries and used their writing dictionaries to help them find words that they could spell. So I'm really trying to reinforce resourcefulness and problem solving. For our language arts, we're also going to have small group instruction that will be pulled daily. Once the assessments are done, the kids will be put in those groups, and I will communicate to you what group they are in. We have authentic literature selections, so some of the classic fairy tales, some of the classic picture books, as well as texts that are aligned to Common Core standards. We also have leveled readers that students can access through EPIC, which is a digital platform, and traditional paper copies that they'll have in their reading groups. We do write every single day, no matter the learning environment. As a former 8th grade ELE teacher, writing is very important to me. We have lots of writing prompts, poetry responses, free writing, journal writing. And we also focus on handwriting every day. So then the students begin their day with about 15 minutes of handwriting instruction on letters, numbers, sentences, basic lines. EPIC is a digital library database that students can access to read any book that they want on the database. However, the only caveat is that it can only be used during school hours on the school subscription. So if you would like your student to have access to EPIC at home, you can purchase a separate subscription that will give them access to the same materials. So to get your student on EPIC, you can follow the instructions on the side of the screen, typing in the class code. For our math, we are using a program called Zearn. This aligns to the Common Core standards. We will also be breaking into small groups for math. Students will develop strategies, and they'll have perseverance with our math curriculum. We get this through our math sprints, where the students are working to develop fluency for number pairs and bonds. We also have math manipulatives, where the students are going to get individual boxes that will have like Unifix cubes and counters and other little graphic organizers and strategies they can use to help them as we get through those more complex math instructions. For social studies and science, we have our PCM units. So for science, we're working on solids and liquids, organisms, bright days and dark nights to address our science. For our astronomy, students love space this year. And for social studies, we're working through our PCM. So right now I'm introducing them to Spanish. We're doing Continent of the Month. We do a then and now to discuss things that have happened in the past. And we're also going to be studying some current events. Throughout all of our units, it's very important to understand that students are expected to fail. And if a failure is okay, it is fine, it is part of the unit, it is expected. The students learn a lot from their failures, so it is really hard for them to experience failure and to move through it. But that's going to be a huge part of our curriculum, and a huge part of this classroom is to experience failure and to learn from it. So to help students with this emotion, because failure is really difficult for a lot of people to handle, I use a Little Spot books. The Little Spot books help with anger, sadness, peace, love, all of the big emotions. I'm now starting to break down our more individual feelings. So this week we looked at empathy, last week we looked at talent. In the future we'll look at belonging and patience and talent and honesty. So we're going to try to focus on one big emotion every week to help them with their SEL. And a student favorite that we have as part of our PCM is a STEM project. So every marking period, the students will have one STEM challenge. This marking period STEM challenge will occur in October, and it's called Kane's Arcade. This is a little boy in the picture named Kane who made an arcade system completely out of cardboard boxes. So we're going to take inspiration from him, and the students are going to use whatever supplies they can find around their homes to create their own arcades. So as you start collecting boxes or other things around the house, you can start sending them in with your student. I'll store them in the classroom, and then on our Kane Arcade Day, the students will have access to those materials to create their own arcade. This is a quick snapshot of how your student spends most of their days. So in the morning, they work on getting their orange folder to their desk. They pick out a book from my classroom library for the day. They eat their breakfast and they begin their morning work. And on Monday, they get 5 new pencils for the week. The students run the morning meeting. So the students discuss aspects of the calendar. We do a national day of, we have a tally, a 10 frame to discuss how many days of school we've had and the weather. So students get to call on each other and move themselves through the meeting. We then move into handwriting practice, reading and response. We have extra recess. We'll move into William and Mary or our PCM lesson. This is also where we'll have our reading groups. Then we have lunch, recess, quiet time before moving into math. Our math, we have our whole group instruction and our small group instruction with independent practice on Zern. Then we go to special and come back and have snack and our Continent of the Month, science, social studies, SEL, additional read alouds. And we end every day by organizing our desks, cleaning up our room, packing up, and listening to a chapter book read aloud. And then on Fridays, they have the additional task of turning in their 5 pencils from the week and packing up their Chromebook to be sent home. This is a QR code that we're asking all the families to scan and take the survey for the MPE engagement. This is just to see what other additional activities you would like to see Mount Pleasant have, what things Mount Pleasant can do better to support you, and what you are currently enjoying from Mount Pleasant. We also have a first grade student learner survey. This is just for me. This is just so I can learn more about how what you know about your student and what I might need to know about your student to help them be successful this year. So I'll be sending an email with these reminders. And if you need to contact me for any questions, I do send home the newsletter every Friday. You have access to my class dojo, and you also have access to my email. Thank you so much for keeping your children home when they are sick. It is much appreciated. Just please message me on dojo when they are sick so I can notify the nurse and she can follow up with the proper COVID protocols. If your student is absent, but you feel like they're well enough to complete work or you want them to do something at night, you're free to message me and ask for the day's lessons, and I'll send you the Google Slides. But students are not required to complete any work at home. I won't expect them to do things while they're sick. This is just if you want them to do something more academic at home while they're sick. So thank you so much for all your support this year. I really appreciate it. We did have a few students or a few parents ask if we could set up a parent communication to share emails. So if you would like to be part of that and have your email or your phone number shared so that kids can start setting up play dates, please just message me on Dojo that you're comfortable with that, and I'll push out a link with everyone's contact information. We also had people ask about weekly spelling and a Spanish group that happened after school last year. Those are things that I am checking into, and I will let you know through a whole class email blast what information I'm able to find. So if you have any questions, please message me on Dojo or email, and I hope to see you at parent conferences. Thank you so much. Have a great night.